Imagine what your day could look like if you could consistently focus for 9+ hours every single day. How much more work could you get done, and how much more money would you make? Well, over the last 5 years, I've dedicated my entire life, my business, and my source of income towards solving this problem. And our clients like Luis Garros, Nathan Nazareth, Alex Astri, William Phillips, and a ton of other 7- and 8-figure guys are at the point where they are today because of our system. As fundamentally, this is how they work. They've scaled their output. And this isn't going to be some bullshit video that tells you to rely on discipline or consistency or using vague terms. This is the granular, real stuff that successful business owners use on a daily basis. What you need is a not-fail system that's consistently going to show up for you, just like how you're showing up for yourself. And I'm going to walk you through that today. And everything I'm going to explain is exactly how we do it at my company, Optimability. The simplest way to express a dream state is untapped output. 99% of entrepreneurs have no idea that they are the flow state that they create. And fundamentally, you are a creator. You're watching this video or you're running your business because freedom has been the forefront of your focus for your existence. And that's not something that you realize that went away. So you created an asset or a vehicle to generate wealth for yourself so you can sustain your mode of creation. You can be in marketing, you can be in sales. It doesn't really matter what you're doing. And so the dream state of that, the dream state of being a creator, is frictionless creation or just consistent output. Whatever you want to do in your business and what you're putting out in the world as its source of value generation for yourself, you want that to be as frictionless as possible. So that way you can continue to get the fulfillment that you're looking for, because honestly, that's the problem. It's at a certain point in business, you just stop getting fulfillment because you've hit a certain level, you've hit a new high, and you just realize that it's going to cap out eventually. And that fulfillment initially comes from monetary value. It comes from hitting new benchmarks and hitting new highs. But at a certain threshold, there's other things with our creation mechanisms, our output, that are going to tap into undesired fulfillment from ourselves. And the entire problem is that the current mechanisms that exist for the way that we fulfill ourselves, moreover, our bodies, suck. Uber Eats, maid services, restaurants, eating out, nothing really gets granular about the entire vehicle and the intricacy of what's doing all this creation for you, more specifically, your mind and your body. And that's the thing that deserves the most amount of respect, because your body and your output and what you're putting out, or your creation patterns, those are the things that pay the most dividends on the way that you fulfill yourself and how you live your life on a day-to-day basis. So that needs to be the premise and the focus of everything. And this was exactly my problem when I started out my businesses. I had a content agency and I had Optimability. And as things were starting to turn and value was being generated and money was coming in, I started burning out because I had so many things to do. And I was hearing so many different things from different gurus about how to spend money on ads, or how to focus on certain channels, or how to just work all day, when I realized that I'm not doing this to grow Optimability. I'm doing this to continue to channel my inner creator and make Optimability as abundant as humanly possible. It's not about revenue targets. It's not about money coming in. That's not the goal. That's just an outcome of creation. And in order to be a better creator, and to continuously make better and better things, we have to dial in our output mechanisms, as ultimately the thing that's tasked for creating is the brain. And our client, William, he's around mid-40s. He had this problem. He showed up to us. He was vaping. He was addicted to fast food. He had 2 pounds of visceral fat on him. And honestly, he was on the verge of death. He has 3 kids. He doesn't have the ability to risk his life like that. He's made millions in oil. And then he was just sitting at home, lugging himself around, dragging himself around because he didn't know what to do with himself. He didn't know that the energy and the serotonin and the focus that he put into work didn't immediately translate to his body. And that was up to us to make sure that he was aligned properly with where he was putting his energy and where he was channeling his efforts in terms of his health. And that's what a lot of clients don't realize. When they hop on an onboarding call with me, they're shocked as to the depth and the ignorance that's going on behind the scenes on a day-to-day basis. Today, I met with Johnny Mao. He's a high-ticket closer on Instagram, really nice guy. He's killing it. And he had his onboarding call with me today. What he was the most shocked by, I'd say from my impression, was how granular we got with the data that's coming in and how we're interpreting that and how we're dissecting the only vehicle in our lives, which is our bodies and our brains and our health, in order to fix the output equation. Money and looks don't solve everything. And there's a lot more that's lost keeping health behind a curtain and not deep diving it and understanding it than there is when we address it head on. And that's the thing. It's about utilizing all the dimensions in which the body functions in, from our mobility to our motor skills, to our fitness, to our digestion, to our nutrition, to our supplementation, and figuring out what the holes are in that so that we can enable our inner creator to shine and be perplexed in terms of the inputs that we're putting so that we can get higher tangible outputs. So if you're a 7 or 8-figure business owner, check out the link in the bio that gives you a full rundown of the service and exactly what we do so that we can enable your inner creator on a day-to-day basis. Because what else should you be doing? You have the money, you've created what you wanted to. Now it's about tapping into the highest level of what you can imagine to be possible and using your body, because you have no other thing to use to get there. Your mind is your greatest asset, and it's your greatest tool that you need to empower to take you to the level that you want to be at. So it's time that you got a little bit more savvy and a little bit more smart about the mechanics at which your brain and body function, because they're very intricate and you definitely don't know everything about them. Neither do I. That's why I've been spending the past 8 years researching and putting these things to work with people, teams, AI, so that it can actually start to make a difference in people's lives. Info is info, but systems are a different thing. And once you turn the lever with optimability, there's no going back.